Thank you for joining our presentation on the usability test conducted using Aloe Yoga and Lululemon, two athletic wear brands. I'm Jade Forde.
I'm Margarita Czupryn.
And I'm Lori Evans. So we had a total of 6 participants. More than half of them were female. The average age was about 47. 100% of our participants use a computer daily. 0% connect to the internet at the library. And 17% didn't know how they connect to the internet. Next. For the internet use, it was 100% participants use the internet daily, and they have used the internet for more than 3 years. Also, for habits, using the internet and their computer or buying online products, 100% have bought products online more than 10 times, and 50% had bought products similar to our websites, Aloe Yoga and Lululemon, more than 10 times. Next. The average time it took participants to complete their test were the longest for my participants, mostly because they kept talking about how cute the clothes were and asking me questions about, like, would I buy that? Those kind of things. Whereas Jade and Margarita's participants, they stayed on task more and finished at an average of about 15 minutes, where mine took about 35-ish. All of the tests were conducted separately for each participant in our homes in a secluded area where it was private. And we followed the steps for how the test was performed to ensure quality control. Next.
On this slide, we have table 3, which is the descriptive statistics of all the responses to both of the websites. And on the right side of the slide, you can see each variable broken down into the mean and what their standard deviation and range means for that specific variable. For example, the behavioral intention to use for both of these websites have a mean of 4.92. However, the standard deviation and range show a moderately high intent to use the websites, yet substantial variation in responses. The perceived utility have a mean of 4.73, with a moderate perception of usefulness, but considerable spread in responses. And we also have usability impression with a mean of 5.25, with an overall positive usability impression, but with a noticeable variation. Next. Now we have the results for Aloe Yoga, table 4. On the right, we still have the variables broken down. So this one differs than the last one. Behavioral intention to use with a mean of 4.17, which is slightly lower than our previous table, and it shows moderate intention to use with substantial variation. We have perceived utility also lower on this one with a mean of 3.92, which is slightly above average, but perceived utility with diverse opinions. And we also have usability impression with a mean of 4.67, a somewhat positive usability impression, and a moderate variability as well. Next. And for our last table 5, we have Lululemon. The same variables are listed on the right. And these variables we see much higher mean, specifically for behavioral intention to use with 5.67, as showing strong intention to use with some variation. And perceived utility, a mean of 5.54, high perceived utility, but significant diversity in opinions. And usability impression, mean 5.83, with a positive usability impression and moderate variation. Next.
Aloe Yoga's website is generally easy to learn. Perceived utility and intention to show substantial variation. There are areas for improvement, including enhancing utility and offerings. With Lululemon, their website was very well received with a high ease of learning, perceived utility, and intention to use. However, there is significant variation in satisfaction, in products and services, suggesting a need for improving consistency. Overall, both websites score well in all 5 variables, showing a mix of opinions. With our toughest question at the beginning, our question was, how many colors are provided in the 3/4 legging? With that question at the beginning, we saw a decrease in time between sites overall. So participants took the longest amount of time on that first initial question. When asked to find the price of a women's sleeveless top, users answered how they saw fit. Some participants selected the first top they saw on the page. Others looked for the most expensive item. As they run through scenario number 2, they grew confidence in the test. When asked about the price of a woman's hoodie, there were participants that shopped around for what they thought looked nice, and others who picked the first one they found. So 50% of participants selected the first hoodie that caught their eye. On average, this question took 1 minute and 4 seconds, showing that users were more confident by the time they reached this scenario. In conclusion, we learned a lot during this process. Demographics has a great impact on how well the test was performed, but ensuring the interface works well for the intended audience should be the priority. Lori?
Yes. So for the usability test summary, we thought that we could have considered testing a men's product, considering that we did have 2 male participants, and also to diversify the scenarios to allow participants to better explore the interfaces and get to know the products better on Lululemon and Alo. Margarita?
Lastly, we learned that making the directions clear will improve the user's experience. For example, on our surveys, we included the term capris. However, each website had their respective term for that, whether it be 3/4 leggings or a 17-inch inseam. So making that more clear will help provide some clarity for the participants. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation of Alo Yoga and Lululemon's usability. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.